Section 3.1, and we're talking about parallel and skew lines. So in this video, we are going to identify relationships between figures in space. So we're going to start talking about what parallel is and what skews are. We're going to talk about lines, we're going to talk about planes and all different types of things like that. So in this case, part of the essential understanding here of this section is that not all lines and not all planes intersect. Okay, so let's talk about parallel lines, by the way. Parallel lines are two lines that never intersect. They never meet each other. Okay, so in this case, it says here that parallel lines are coplanar lines that do not intersect. The symbol, and you'll see me write it like this, two sideways lines like this. Yeah, I'll do that a little bit better here. Two lines like this, that means parallel, and they put them straight up and down. I kind of angle them to the side, okay, but this symbol right here means parallel to. All right, so for example, this is saying that line AE is parallel to line BF. So line AE is this line right here, that's line AE, and line BF are parallel to each other. In other words, they happen to make up the front side, two sides of the box, okay? And you'll notice those two lines will never meet. They're parallel to each other. They'll never intersect. Okay? A couple of other lines that are parallel to each other are, in this case, they said line AD, which is right there, and line BC. These are parallel to each other. They never intersect. There are lots of parallel lines that are in this box, okay, that you can look at, and we're going to identify parallel lines in the box. The next part we're going to look at is skew lines. Now, skew lines are lines that are not coplanar. So they're not in the same plane, they are not parallel, and they do not intersect. So there's three things with skew lines. They're non-coplanar, they're not parallel, and they do not intersect. That's something you probably want to make sure you study and know, because we're going to have to identify skew lines. So they can't be in the same plane, they can't be parallel, and they don't intersect each other. All right, so it says here AB and CG are skew. So AB is that blue line right there, and CG is back here going, okay, like so. So they're not in the same plane. AB is part of the top box of the box and is part of the front of the box. CG is not part of the top, it's not part of the front. CG is part of the right side of the box and it's also part of the back of the box. So they are not in the same plane. They're not parallel to each other. Why are they not parallel? Because they're not going in the same direction. In order to be parallel, they have to be going in the same direction. So this one is going left to right. This one's going up and down. So they're not parallel to each other. And they don't intersect. In other words, they never meet. Okay? So this line here, it might look like, oh wait, it's going to touch right here. No, it's the front. It's away from that line. So it'll never intersect it. There's a space here between those two lines in order for them to intersect. Okay? So skew lines. Now another example of skew lines would be here. Another example of skew lines would be, let's see, I'm going to choose HG. So let's choose HG and AE. Those lines are skew. One's going up and down, one's going left and right, and they're not in the same plane. Okay, last part we're going to look at here is parallel planes. So which planes are parallel? In other words, which planes do not touch? Okay, well, they go plane A, B, C, D. Well, you can see in the picture, that's the yellow highlighted part here, the top part of the box. Well, the top part and the bottom part are parallel to each other. They will never touch each other, the top and the bottom. Okay, otherwise it'll never be a box. The top and the box are parallel to each other. So A, B, C, D and E, F, G, H. Those are parallel. Another pair that could be parallel could be B, F, G, C, which is the right side, And the right side is parallel to the left side, which would be DAEH. Now, we're naming those planes with 4 letters. You can you can name them with 4, that's fine. Or you could name them with 3. Sometimes since we're dealing with a 4-sided shape, it's easier to name them with 4. Okay, so a line and a plane that do not intersect are parallel. Segments and rays can also be parallel or skew. Okay, they're parallel if they lie in parallel lines and skew if they lie in skew lines. Okay, so let's look at an example here. Some examples to go through that you'll see on some practice problems. In the figure, it says assume that lines and planes that appear to be parallel are parallel. So, which segments are parallel to AB? Rule right here is AB. So I want to know which segments are parallel to that. Well, I know that EF will never touch it because that's the bottom part. EF is 1. I know that CD is another one. Okay, CD. So I've got these two. CD, EF, and then the last one is GH. Those guys are all parallel to each other. They will never intersect at all. They're going in the same direction. Okay, so therefore, they are parallel to each other. Okay, which segments are skew to CD? Well, here is segment CD right there. Okay, which ones are skew to it? So remember, skew cannot be in the same plane. They cannot be going in the same direction, so they can't be parallel. So let's see here. Let's take a look. Well, I know for sure I've got AE. AE is going up and down. CD is going, in this case right here, AE, they don't intersect. They're not part of the same plane, and they're not parallel to each other. I know BF is another segment. BF, that is another segment that is skew. Back here, it's going in a different direction. It's going up and down. It does not intersect. Okay? And they're not in the same plane. Another set could be EH. EH. Again, EH right here. They're not in the same plane. They do not go the same direction. Okay? And they don't intersect, so they're not parallel. And then the last pair would be FG. FG back here in the bottom. Doesn't touch DC or CD. Not in the same plane. Okay, and those lines are skew. Okay, which two planes or which two pairs of, what are two pairs of parallel planes? Okay, so on the box you have to think, okay, which sides will not touch? So you're thinking top, bottom, right, left, front, back, and we just have to name them. So let's name the top and the bottom. All right, top, I've got A. On the top, I've got A, B, C, D. And then the bottom, I've got E, F, G, and H. Notice I go in order. When I name this, I started here, and I want to go in either clockwise order or counterclockwise, but I got to go in. I can't go E, H, F, G. I got to go in an order here. So E, F, G, H. That's one pair, top and bottom. And let's go front and back. So the front of the box is A, D, H, E. And the back of the box is B, C, G, F. Okay, so you got the front of the box and the back of the box. Those are two pairs of parallel planes. All right. Okay, what are two segments that are parallel to plane BCGF? Now, BCGF is in the back, so let's highlight BCGF. BCGF is back here. I want to know two lines that are parallel to that. So I want to know a line that goes in the same direction. Okay, so that's the back part of the box. So if it's going to be parallel, it has to be on the front side of the box. Okay, so I need lines that are parallel, two segments that are parallel from the front side of the box. So I can name any two I want. I can go AD, that's a segment that's parallel. That's this guy right here. And I can go EH. Those are two segments that are parallel to the back. Okay, they're both part of the front. They cannot be, they will never intersect the back side. Okay? All right, so now, that being said, you should be able to complete all of your examples in class kick now.